The Galactic Republic didn't hear the invasion coming. It felt it. Over Coruscant, space itself hemorrhaged. A wound of violet energy tore across the orbital lanes, vomiting cosmic debris and dying starlight. From the rift emerged not ships, but a whirl, a fragmented, barren planetoid trailing atmosphere like a corpse's shroud. At its heart, a throne. On that throne, Thanos. He arrived not with fleets, but with a single, cataclysmic decree. His voice, amplified by the Power Stone, shattered transparent steel across the planet's upper levels. People of the galaxy. In the Jedi Temple, Masters Yoda and Mace Windu felt it first. A pressure in the Force so vast, it felt like a black hole forming in their mind. The Force screamed in a way it never had. Not in pain, in violation. "I am Thanos." On the Senate floor, Chancellor Palpatine paused mid-sentence, a flicker of genuine surprise beneath his carefully crafted mask of concern. This was not part of his design. "Your galaxy is overpopulated, chaotic, ungrateful for the life you have been given." Thanos stood, the Infinity Gauntlet gleaming on his left hand. 6 stones pulsed: space, blue; reality, red; power, purple; soul, orange; time, green; and mind, yellow. He raised his fist. "I will restore balance, as I have done for 1,000 worlds." The space stone flared. Blue light enveloped the planetoid. Then, with a sound that cracked moons, it teleported, reappearing not in orbit, but inside Coruscant's upper atmosphere, hovering like a second moon over the galactic district. Panic. Every starship in traffic control veered. Sky speeders collided. The planetary shield flickered, but it was never designed for something materializing inside its perimeter. Thanos clenched his fist. The Power Stone unleashed a wave of purple annihilation downward, not a laser, a wall of pure energy. It struck the Senate district. The iconic dome didn't explode. It disintegrated, molecule by molecule, along with the 5 kilometers of city beneath it. 2 million lives gone in a silent, violet flash. "Behold," Thanos' voice echoed through the sudden, screaming silence. "The mercy of balance." Jedi Response Force. Alpha launched within 90 seconds. 12 Jedi starfighters led by Master Plo Koon, with gunships carrying 20 Jedi Knights, including Kit Fisto and Shak Tai. They soared toward the hovering planetoid. Thanos watched them come. He didn't move from his throne. "Jedi," he mused, the Mind Stone giving him their titles, their history, their fear. "You who claim to keep peace through violence. Hypocrite." Plo Koon's voice crackled over the comms. "Unknown entity, you have committed an act of war against the Galactic Republic. Stand down and surrender." Thanos smiled. He snapped his fingers. The reality stone glowed red. The Jedi starfighters turned into crystallized songbirds, their wings still beating, flying harmless circles. The gunships became clouds of sweet-smelling mist that rained glittering dust over the city below. The Jedi Knights inside, however, fell 1,000 feet. They survived, using the Force to cushion their falls, landing on rooftops and streets. Shakti ignited her blue lightsaber, looking up at the Titan. "What manner of sorcery is this?" "Not sorcery," Thanos said, standing. "Truth." He descended from his throne, walking down invisible steps through the air. The Space Stone brought him to street level, facing the 20 Jedi. Kit Fisto charged, his green blade a blur. Thanos caught the lightsaber in his bare hand. The plasma blade should have severed flesh and bone. Instead, it hissed against his skin, held back by the Power Stone's energy field. He crushed the blade, the Kyber crystal inside screaming as it shattered. With his other hand, Thanos backhanded Fisto. The Nautolan Jedi flew through 3 buildings. "He resists the blade!" Shak-Ti yelled. All together, the Jedi attacked as one, a whirlwind of light and force-enhanced speed. Thanos moved with methodical, unstoppable precision. He grabbed a Jedi by the throat, the Soul Stone flaring orange. The Jedi's essence was ripped out, a screaming blue specter absorbed into the stone, before the body turned to dust. 1, Thanos counted. He used the Reality Stone to turn the street beneath another Jedi into liquid obsidian, swallowing him whole before solidifying it. 2, a force push from 3 Jedi simultaneously hit him. He didn't budge. The Power Stone pulsed, and the push reversed with triple force, breaking every bone in the Jedi's bodies. 3, 4, 5. In 47 seconds, 19 Jedi were dead or gone. Only Shakti remained, panting, her leku twitching in terror. Thanos looked at her. "You have great compassion. I see your soul. You worry for your clone troopers, for the younglings in the temple." He raised the gauntlet. "I will spare them pain." He snapped his fingers again. Across Coruscant, in the military barracks, the clone trooper stationed there, 1 in 2, turned to dust. Not randomly, perfectly balanced. Half of all military personnel on the planet gone. Shakti screamed, a sound of pure, broken anguish, and charged. Thanos didn't kill her. He opened a space stone portal beneath her feet. She fell through, reappearing in the Jedi Council chamber, collapsing before Yoda and Windu. Thanos' voice echoed through the temple itself. "You have 12 hours to surrender the galaxy's population records. I will cull half of all life, system by system. Resist, and I will cull 3 in 4. This is mercy." On his planetoid throne, Thanos sat. The time stone glowed around him, creating a shimmering acceleration field. To the outside world, seconds passed. Inside, he began planning the galactic harvest. The most powerful being in the universe has come for the Star Wars galaxy. Who can stop him? Subscribe. The war for reality begins now. The Jedi High Council chamber was silent for 3 full minutes. The only sound was Shakti's ragged breathing as healers tended to her shock. Master Yoda closed his eyes. "Clouded the Force is, by this being's will, obscured." Mace Windu's hands were clenched so tight his knuckles were white. "He killed 19 Jedi in under a minute. He neutralized our fleet with a thought. He's not using the Force. This is something else. Technology, it is not," Yoda said. "Living energy, the stones contain. To the Force, connected they are, but wrongly. A cancer they are." Chancellor Palpatine's hologram flickered to life, his face the picture of grave concern. "Masters, the Senate is in chaos. Entire species delegations have been halved. We must retaliate with immediate force." "Against what?" Master Ki-Adi-Mundi asked. "Our weapons turn to mist. Our soldiers turn to dust. He controls reality itself." "Then we find what he cannot control," a new voice said. From the shadows, Darth Sidious allowed a sliver of his true self to show, not enough to reveal himself, but enough to guide. "This Thanos wields stones of great power. All power has a counter, a weakness." Yoda's ears twitched. He felt the dark side whisper, but the threat was so dire its source mattered less. "A weakness, you sense. Everything that exists has its opposite," Sidious said smoothly. "If he wields stones of creation, perhaps artifacts of destruction could counter them. The Monom of Mandalore, the Force Void crystals of Mortis, weapons that negate what he does." Windu stood. "We don't have time for archaeological digs. He's giving us 12 hours. We have to hit him now with everything." "And lose everything," Yoda said quietly. "A different approach we need." Anakin Skywalker, who had been standing silently by the window, watching the planetoid hover, spoke. "He's not invincible. He blocked lightsabers with an energy field. That takes concentration. We hit him from more angles than he can focus on. 1,000 ships, 10,000 Jedi, all at once." "Or," said Obi-Wan Kenobi, stroking his beard, "we don't attack the Titan. We attack the Gauntlet." All eyes turned to him. "Master Windu said it. The stones are living energy. Kyber crystals are living energy too. They can be shattered. What if we could disconnect one stone from the others? Break the set?" "Impossible," Ki-Adi-Mundi said. "We cannot get close." Anakin's eyes lit up. "We don't have to. We use the Force itself." He turned to Yoda. "On Geonosis, when all the Jedi gathered, we created a Force barrier that held back waves of droids. What if every Jedi on Coruscant, every Knight, every Padawan, every Master, linked together, not to attack Thanos, but to attack the bond between the stones?" Yoda's eyes widened. "Dangerous this is. Should we fail, our minds broken will be. Should we do nothing, our galaxy will be broken." Mace Windu said, rising. "I will lead the ritual." "No," Yoda said. "Lead it. I will. My responsibility this is." He looked at the planetoid. "But a distraction we need." That's when the Venator-class Star Destroyers arrived. 200 Republic warships dropped out of hyperspace, surrounding Coruscant, not on Palpatine's orders, on the orders of Admiral Yularen, who had lost half his bridge crew to the snap and was now operating on pure, vengeful protocol. "All vessels," Yularen broadcast, "concentrate fire on the alien structure. Ignore collateral damage. Full barrage." Thanos opened his eyes as the first volley of turbolasers struck his planetoid's shields. He stood, amused. Courage, futile, but commendable. He raised the gauntlet. The space stone glowed. Around every Venator, blue portals opened. Their own turbolaser fire curved back through them, striking their own engines. Chain reactions of explosions lit up the orbital space as ships destroyed themselves with their own weapons. But it was the distraction the Jedi needed. In the temple, Yoda gathered every Force-sensitive, over 10,000 beings. They formed concentric circles in the Great Hall, meditating, linking minds. The air hummed with power. Light fixtures shattered. The floor cracked. Yoda reached out, not toward Thanos, but toward the gauntlet. He felt the stones, each a screaming nexus of cosmic power. They were connected by will, by the gauntlet's design, by Thanos' consciousness, a chain of unimaginable strength. The Jedi, as one, took hold of that chain with the Force and pulled. Thanos stumbled. For the first time since arriving, he felt resistance. The gauntlet grew hot on his hand. The stones vibrated, their harmony disrupted. The Soul Stone screamed as 10,000 Jedi poured light-side energy into the connection, trying to purify it. "Clever," Thanos growled. He focused, pushing back with the Power Stone. Purple energy crackled down the psychic link. In the temple, 100 Padawans screamed, blood pouring from their noses. 3 masters collapsed, their minds burned out, but Yoda held. "Together!" he cried, his voice amplified through the Force. The Jedi pushed again. The Mind Stone in the gauntlet flickered, yellow light sputtered. Thanos roared in frustration. He couldn't focus. The fleet, though dying, kept firing, forcing him to split his attention between physical defense and psychic war. He made a decision. He clenched his fist, all stones glowing at once, and slammed the gauntlet into the ground of his planetoid. A wave of multicolored energy exploded outward. Every remaining Venator within 5,000 kilometers was vaporized. Every Jedi in the temple was thrown backward. The psychic link shattered, and Yoda, at the epicenter of the backlash, was hit by a bolt of Soul Stone energy. He didn't turn to dust. He aged. Centuries caught up in seconds. He shriveled, falling to the floor, barely breathing. Thanos stood, panting slightly. The gauntlet was now scorched, smoking, but intact. He looked at the Jedi temple. No more distractions. He raised his hand to unleash a Power Stone blast that would erase the temple from existence. But before he could, a single starfighter, an Eta-2 Actis interceptor, dropped out of hyperspace directly between him and the temple. Anakin Skywalker, alone, opened his cockpit. He stood on his seat, the solar winds whipping his robe. He ignited his lightsaber, pointing it at the mad Titan. "You want balance?" Anakin shouted, the Force carrying his voice. "Try balancing this!" He hurled his lightsaber, not at Thanos, but at the gauntlet itself. Thanos caught the blade effortlessly, crushing it, but he didn't notice the second weapon. Anakin's ship itself on autopilot, engines at full burn, hurtling toward the planetoid's throne. Anakin leapt, using the Force to propel himself back toward the temple. His starfighter, carrying its full load of torpedoes and fuel, slammed into the throne. The explosion was nuclear. Thanos was engulfed in fire. The fire cleared. Thanos stood, his armor scorched, his skin burned in patches, but alive. The Power Stone had protected him. Barely. His throne was gone. The planetoid surface was molten glass. For the first time he felt pain, and with it, anger. "Enough," he whispered. The Time Stone glowed. Green light washed over him. His burns reversed. His armor repaired itself. He was whole again, but his patience was gone. He looked at the Jedi Temple, then at the billions of lives across the Ecumenopolis. He raised the gauntlet, all stones beginning to glow in sequence. "If you refuse balanced mercy, you will receive unbalanced judgment." He snapped his fingers. The Reality Stone activated first. Red waves pulsed downward. Across Coruscant, the city changed. Buildings turned to trees that immediately died from pollution. Streets became rivers of acid. The air solidified into crystalline structures that trapped thousands mid-step. The planet remained alive, but transformed into a hellscape of paradoxes, a monument to suffering. The Soul Stone activated next. Orange tendrils snaked through the altered reality, seeking not half of life, but all life that felt fear. And in that moment, every being on Coruscant felt fear. Souls were ripped from bodies, not just half, but nearly 2/3, absorbed into the stone's hungry core. 3 billion lives gone. The Jedi Temple, protected by its ancient force shields, held, but cracks appeared in the walls. Inside, Anakin caught the falling, aged Yoda. "Master!" Yoda's eyes fluttered open, aged but sharp. "The gauntlet, damaged it is. See, I do." A crack in the Mind Stone. Anakin looked. Through the viewport, he could see Thanos raising the gauntlet again. The yellow Mind Stone was flickering, a hairline fracture visible. "The link between stones weakened is," Yoda whispered. "Attack the fracture. We must." "How?" Yoda gripped Anakin's hand. "Your power, unique it is. The chosen one. More connection to the Force you have than any Jedi. To the stones connect you can. To the fracture, pour your will. That's suicide. Victory or defeat. All suicide is today," Yoda said. "Choose the victory. You must." Outside, Thanos prepared his final stroke, the Power Stone, to shatter the planet's core and be done with it. But before he could, a squadron of N1 starfighters shot out of hyperspace. Not Republic, Mandalorian, led by Jango Fett, hired by Palpatine as deniable assets. They fired disruptor missiles, weapons that broke molecular bonds. Thanos swatted them away with the Space Stone, but one got through, striking the gauntlet directly. The Power Stone flickered. Thanos roared, turning his attention to the Mandalorians. That was the opening. Anakin Skywalker leapt from the temple, not with a ship, but with the Force alone. He propelled himself through the toxic, solidified air, breaking through crystalline clouds, aiming straight for Thanos. Thanos saw him coming. "The brave one! You should have run!" He fired a Power Stone blast. Anakin didn't dodge. He caught it with the Force, not to stop it, but to redirect it upward, into space. The effort broke bones in his body, but he kept flying. He landed on the planetoid, 20 feet from Thanos. "You talk about balance," Anakin spat, blood on his lips. "But you're just another tyrant. My whole life, I've been told I'm meant to bring balance to the Force. Let's see what that means." Anakin reached out, not with his hand, but with every fiber of his being. He connected to the Force, and through it, to the fractured Mind Stone. He poured his pain into it, his fear for Padme, his anger at his mother's death, his frustration with the Council, his visions of the future, all the chaotic, unbalanced power of the Chosen One, channeled directly into the crack in the stone. The Mind Stone screamed. Yellow light erupted from the gauntlet. Thanos tried to remove it, but it was fused to his hand. The fracture widened. The stone's energy began leaking, arcing into the other stones, destabilizing them. "What have you done?" Thanos bellowed. "I brought balance," Anakin said, collapsing. The gauntlet was now a vortex of conflicting energies. The stones were feeding back into each other, creating a cascade failure. Thanos knew what was coming. He tried to use the Space Stone to teleport away, but the Time Stone was fluctuating, freezing him in moment-to-moment loops. He was trapped with a dying Infinity Gauntlet. He looked at Anakin, then at the galaxy beyond. It didn't have to be this way. The gauntlet exploded. The explosion didn't destroy Coruscant. It did something worse. The unleashed infinity energy scarred reality itself. A permanent, multicolored nebula now hung where Thanos' planetoid had been, a wound in space-time that pulsed with unnatural energies. The Reality Stone's effects on Coruscant became permanent in a 100-kilometer radius, a district now called the Impossible City, where physics changed hourly. The Soul Stone's victims were gone forever. 3 billion souls, not dust. erased. The Mind Stone's explosion left telepathic static across the system. Force users heard whispers of dead voices, felt alien thoughts, but Thanos was gone. The gauntlet was destroyed. The stones were scattered, not destroyed, but blown across the galaxy, to be found another day. On the scarred surface of the planetoid, now just an asteroid, Anakin Skywalker awoke. He was broken, burned, but alive. Next to him lay a single, intact Infinity Stone, the Time Stone, glowing green, having protected itself from the cascade. He picked it up. It showed him visions, futures where he ruled, futures where he died, futures where the stones returned. It showed him Padme dying in childbirth. He dropped it like it was poison. The stone rolled away, vanishing into the rubble. Obi-Wan found him minutes later, arriving in a rescue shuttle. "Anakin, by the Force, you're alive." "He's gone," Anakin whispered. "But it's not over. The stones are out there, and others will look for them." In the Senate ruins, now being cleared, Palpatine seethed in private. Thanos had been an unforeseen variable, a rival, but the stones were an opportunity. His agents were already searching for the Power Stone's energy signature. In the Jedi Temple, the surviving Jedi, only 4,000 remained, tended to their wounded. Yoda, permanently aged but alive, convened what was left of the council. "A grave victory this is," he said. "Wounded, the galaxy is. Wounded, the Force is. These stones, a cancer, they remain." Mace Windu, his arm in a sling, nodded. "We need to find them before others do, before the Sith do." They didn't know they were decades too late. Anakin stood on a medical frigate, looking at the scar in space. Obi-Wan joined him. "You saved us, Anakin, but at a terrible cost." "He was right about one thing," Anakin said quietly. "The galaxy is unbalanced. The Republic is corrupt. The Jedi are stagnant." He looked at his mechanical hand, damaged in the explosion. "What if there's another way?" Obi-Wan frowned. "Don't let victory breed arrogance, Anakin. The dark side whispers in moments of weakness." But Anakin wasn't listening. He was remembering the visions the Time Stone showed him. Power, control, saving Padme. The stones were out there, and part of him wanted to find them first. 1 month later, the Republic was rebuilding, but forever changed. The Infinity War became the new benchmark for horror. Systems began seceding. Fearing centralization made them targets. The Jedi Order created a new division, the Infinity Watch, tasked with locating and containing the stones. On a remote world, the Reality Stone buried itself in a mountain, transforming the region into a surrealist landscape. On a star freighter, a smuggler found the Space Stone in his cargo hold, not knowing what it was. On Korriban, a Sith acolyte felt the Power Stone's call from deep within the tombs. And on Coruscant, in the deepest vaults of the Jedi Temple, the Mind Stone, recovered by clone troopers, was stored in a lead-lined box. It pulsed softly, reaching out to the most powerful, most unbalanced mind it could sense, Anakin Skywalker, who heard its whisper in his dreams. Yoda sat in meditation, but found no peace. The Force was forever changed. The stones had introduced something alien to its symphony, a discordant note that would echo through eternity. He opened his eyes, looking at the stars. "Begun, the Infinity War has. Over, it will not be, until found all stones are, or destroyed." Mace Windu entered. "Master Yoda, we found a lead on the Soul Stone. It's on a planet called Vormir. There's a Guardian," Yoda wrote. "Then go, we must. And hope we must, that found first, we are." But across the galaxy, Darth Sidious already knew about Vormir, and he knew what the Guardian demanded as price. He looked at his apprentice, Darth Maul, who stood before him. "The stones are the key to unlimited power, more than the Force. We will find them, and when we do, the galaxy will know true balance under my heel." Maul bowed. "What of Skywalker?" "He touched the stone. He bears their mark." Sidious smiled. "He will come to us. The darkness in him calls to the stones, and they call back." In his apartment, Anakin Skywalker woke screaming. Padme held him. "Another nightmare? Worse," he whispered. "A promise." He looked at his hand. The burns from the gauntlet's energy formed a pattern, like cracks, like the fractured Mind Stone. He could still feel them out there, calling, and part of him wanted to answer. The Infinity Stones are scattered across the Star Wars galaxy. Who will find them first? The Jedi, the Sith, or something worse? Subscribe. The hunt begins in the next chapter of the Infinite Galaxy Multiverse.